This hidden risk after 70 could be quietly stealing your independence, and most people don't even know it's happening. There are moments, often imperceptible, when you realize that something has changed. Something you didn't notice at first, but now feels just a little different. Perhaps you've had to ask for help with a task that you used to do effortlessly, or maybe your body doesn't quite respond the way it used to. It's not something you want to admit, but you can't ignore the fact that certain things are just harder. As we age, it's easy to become so wrapped up in the routine of everyday life that we overlook the subtle shifts in our physical and mental abilities. A slight stiffening in your joints, an occasional memory lapse, or that small tendency to avoid walking as much. These little changes, ones that might be brushed aside as a natural part of aging, are in fact part of a much larger pattern. A pattern that can quietly, without warning, erode your independence. The problem is that we often don't notice these shifts. When they first begin, they seem minor, harmless even, a missed step here or there, or a need to sit down a bit earlier than you used to. But as these moments accumulate, they become harder to ignore. You might think, it's just age catching up with me, or everyone goes through this. And in a way, you're right. These changes happen to everyone. But the real question is, how far are they allowed to go before they start taking away your autonomy? How long can you keep pretending that everything is fine? What happens when the risks you dismiss slowly take away your ability to do the things you've always done on your own? What's the cost of letting that small shift go unaddressed? The fear that you might lose control is a quiet one, but it's there, creeping in. It's a fear that many people in their 70s or 80s feel, though they rarely speak of it. It's the kind of fear that sneaks up on you, little by little, until you find yourself asking, what happened to my independence? What happens when you stop noticing these small changes? That's the unspoken question that hangs in the air as you move through your days, still trying to hold on to what you can. Turning 60 is a milestone, but it's also a quiet shift. It's the point where the stakes of maintaining your independence grow substantially higher. Until this age, you might have been able to bounce back quickly from physical setbacks, like spraining an ankle or getting a cold. But after 60, the rules change. Those little moments that once seemed insignificant, slowing down after a brisk walk, not remembering someone's name, begin to carry more weight. The reason this matters more after 60 is simple. As we age, our bodies, our minds, and our social dynamics shift in ways that are much more difficult to reverse. The physical toll becomes more pronounced. Your muscles become weaker. Your bones are more fragile. Your joints are less flexible. But it's not just your body that changes. Your relationships, your sense of purpose, and even your financial security start to shift in ways that compound the risks of losing independence. In fact, studies show that when people in their 60s and 70s neglect their health or stop engaging with others socially, they're more likely to experience faster physical and cognitive decline. The choices you make now, whether it's a decision to stay active or to stay mentally engaged, or even to seek help when you need it, are the ones that will shape your future. But that's the tricky part, isn't it? At this age, everything feels like it's happening just a little too late. The time for drastic change seems to have passed, and many people begin to accept that they're on a downhill trajectory. But it's not true. There's still time. Time to make small, deliberate choices that can help preserve your dignity and your autonomy for years to come. The question, however, is whether or not you'll notice these opportunities before they slip away. The choices we make every day matter more than we realize. It's so easy to fall into habits that seem harmless at first. Skipping a morning walk because you're feeling a little tired. Saying no to a social gathering because you don't feel like it. Letting health concerns slip to the back burner, thinking they'll get better on their own. These little oversights, when compounded over time, can have significant consequences. It's fascinating how something so small, something that seems so trivial, can lead to an irreversible change. Missing one workout doesn't seem like a big deal. Missing 10? Maybe you start to feel it. Not catching up with a friend or family member this month? It's fine, you'll talk next time. But when you make that decision again and again, you start to notice that you've stopped reaching out. You've stopped moving. And over time, the result isn't just physical discomfort. It's the slow erosion of your independence. Take, for instance, the story of Linda, a retired teacher who once prided herself on keeping active and staying in touch with friends. But after a few months of feeling too busy, she stopped going for her walks. The excuse was simple. She had more things to do, and besides, the weather wasn't great. At first, she didn't feel the impact, but soon Linda found herself feeling more fatigued after climbing the stairs. Then came the difficulty reaching her neighbors to chat, followed by a sense of isolation. She didn't realize it at the time, but she was giving up a little piece of her independence every time she decided not to walk or not to call. But it doesn't stop there. These little oversights also bleed into more dangerous areas: ignoring small health issues, not checking in with your doctor regularly, or not addressing those nagging pains. The consequences don't hit immediately, but over time, they add up. Each small oversight compounds into a larger, more significant issue. The question you're left with then is, how many of these small things have you missed in your own life? How many times have you let the little decisions slide, thinking they were harmless? The consequences of these overlooked risks don't remain hidden forever. Eventually, they begin to manifest in ways that affect not just your health, but your dignity. You start to realize that you can't do things on your own anymore. Maybe it's something as simple as needing help to carry groceries, or not being able to navigate a flight of stairs without assistance, or maybe it's the loss of confidence that comes from realizing that you're no longer in control of your own life. The emotional and social consequences are just as painful as the physical ones. When you rely on others to help with things you once did on your own, it can chip away at your sense of pride. You might feel like you're becoming a burden, or that you're losing the ability to contribute to your family or community. And with this loss of independence, often comes a loss of dignity. It's a cycle that's hard to break. The more reliant you become on others, the more isolated you might feel. The more isolated you feel, the harder it becomes to maintain your independence. And before you know it, you're stuck in a place where the smallest task becomes a monumental challenge. But there's more to it than just physical dependence. It's about the way your world starts to shrink, the inability to drive, the difficulty making it to appointments, the constant asking for help. These things don't just limit your physical freedom, they limit your ability to fully engage with life. You can't help but wonder, at times, if you'll ever get back to the life you once knew. But what if there was more to the story? What if this wasn't the inevitable end? What if there was a way to stop the cycle? Just as the weight of lost independence begins to feel unbearable, something unexpected becomes clear. There's a way out. Not a drastic, life-altering change, but a series of small, manageable efforts that can help reclaim your autonomy. It's not about starting over, it's about making simple, consistent changes that over time can add up to something much more significant. Take, for example, maintaining your physical mobility. It doesn't require running marathons or lifting heavy weights. It's about simple activities, stretching, walking, even chair exercises that keep your body functioning. Mental stimulation is just as crucial. Keeping your brain engaged through reading, puzzles, or social activities can help preserve cognitive function. And perhaps the most important change of all? Maintaining your social connections. It's easy to slip into isolation, but staying connected with others is one of the best ways to protect both your emotional and physical health. What's surprising, however, is how many people overlook these simple solutions. They get caught up in the belief that drastic changes are the only way to make a difference. But in truth, it's the small, daily choices that really matter. It's the walk you take every morning, the phone call you make to a friend, the time you spend reading or engaging in a hobby. These seemingly small acts don't just prevent decline, they help build resilience. And while you may not see the full impact right away, in time you'll realize that you've made a significant difference in your ability to live independently. The question now, though, is whether you're ready to take that first small step. Are you ready to fight back against the erosion of your independence? Maintaining your independence into your 70s and beyond is possible. In fact, it's entirely within your control. You don't need to make drastic changes to your lifestyle to stay active, engaged, and self-sufficient. What's required is a mindset shift, a recognition that you still have the power to make choices that affect your well-being, no matter your age. The key to holding on to your dignity and autonomy is understanding that it's not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about taking each day as an opportunity to do what you can to preserve the life you want to lead. Small efforts made consistently will carry you far. You've faced challenges before, and you'll face them again. But with the right mindset and a few practical tools, you can continue to live a fulfilling, independent life. You are not alone in this. Many people are finding ways to age gracefully, maintaining their health, their confidence, and their dignity well into their 80s and beyond. It's not too late. The journey to preserving your independence starts now. Keep moving, keep engaging, and keep believing that you can continue to live the life you deserve. The path to peace is not far. It's already within reach.